Today I'm doing my video a little bit differently and I'm doing it in real time. Why? Because, I really don't know how else to do this. I think if I cut and chop it, it's going to look really funny. So, my boxes, my trays that I make. I've had quite a few people ask me, how do you do it? And I want to show you a couple of things in the way that I do it. And look, it is super easy. And these things are like really strong, like super tough. They're going to last, they last a long time. So I make, hang on, I've got a card in there, I'll move that out of the way. I have trays, longer trays. This is what I use for when I'm doing a page, when I'm doing a layout or a project of some description. I put the bits that I think I might like to use. Doesn't mean I will use them, but I put them in my working tray. Then down here you can see I've got all my tools. Not all my, obviously it's not all my tools, but it's the tools that I usually reach for the most. My scissors, my little snippy scissors, my little fussy cutting scissors. When I have no fingernails, and I use my Cricut tool for tape, blah blah blah. So that one, this tray is always sitting right next to me, right next to my T-square here. Oh, sorry, that's my dogs. They're under the table while I'm doing this, so let's hope they don't do that again. So, what I'm going to show you, firstly, okay, can I show you this one? Alright. Yes, I make thin trays, I make narrow ones, but I also do things like this. Now I'm going to hold it that way so you can see it better. I make trays where, like, literally, that's the tray. Super solid. And I make it so they're stackable. So you can see how it's all lined inside. Doesn't look the best on the inside, but you know what? This goes inside, slides in beautifully. But what it does, it allows me to stack another one on top. Now, what I've actually done, and hopefully you can see this. See how there's two pieces of the chipboard? So I've joined two together on the sides to give that side really good extra strength. Now, the glue that I use when I do this, so this drawer, sorry, squirreling a bit here, but this drawer, obviously I have nothing in it yet, but that's how I have my washi tapes as well. What I will do is I will take a photo so you can see all the different, I've got two of these. These are just my ephemera from my different packaging. If I don't have my kits all together, I have them in here. You might remember that I did a page and I made 2 crabs and I didn't need them. But I'm keeping it because there'll be more sports days and she's in the same thing. So I also have in some of my trays, I have trays within trays. So I'll just tip those over so they're easier. So I store all these are my new ones, I can't wait to use these. Stickles, what are these called? Glitter gels. Oh, I can't wait. And I've got glass beads. Got all sorts of crazy ideas going on in my head and all my stickles. But see, sometimes I just need to pull this out. You know, I might just want some Nuvo drops or something. And I'll just grab the little tray down and leave the big one up there. Heaps of room to buy more stock. Isn't that what we all want? More, more, more. Okay, so that's kind of the difference. Maybe I can show you this one. This is, as you can see, all of these are different sizes. Okay, they are literally all different sizes, different depths. So this one's quite deep, obviously, that one's narrow. I make my storage solution to suit my environment and what I've got, what I'm using at the time. So this particular box has my, you know, your Tim Holtz, your This one is actually for all my words. So this is all like the wordy chitty chat stuff, you know. So I have all that in this particular folder, drawer. And so if I need words for something or a quick word title, I know it's in here. Now I've made it to fit thickers. Simple. Totally works. How did I do that? Because you're now going to see the chipboard that I use, right? It's too short. How on earth did you get it to work? Well, watch and learn. I'm about to show you how I do it. This is a solution that I have had in my head for years. Didn't know if I could pull it off, and I've done it. So now I'm going to share it with you. Okay, I'm going to move all these out of the way because they have nothing to do with it. Why do I have this here? This is what I use to cut this it's 2mm chipboard is what it is. So it's I don't know if that's easier for you to see it. I've zoomed right out so you can see my whole workspace kind of thing. Well, half of it anyway. I use my rotary cutter. I don't use this one because it's just, look, no, it doesn't work. And you'd go through a blade in 5 seconds flat. So I use the rotary trimmer. I can tell you I have made so many trays and boxes, and I've only gone through one. I've only recently replaced my rotary blade. So that's that. Now I'm talking a lot, so I'm going to have a quick drink. Sorry about that. Alright, I'm going to try and do this quickly so you can see what I do. Rotary cutter, so you know this is what I'm using to cut it. I've already pre-cut it so that you know. Okay, this is the glue that I use. Now, I'll show you a couple of fails. If you're an Aussie and you want to do this, I'll show you a couple of fails. Because it didn't all work the first time. This glue here is like water. Absolutely hopeless, don't bother. Doesn't work, it might stick paper to paper, but it's silicone glue and it's water. It doesn't do anything. Normally I use art glitter glue for 99% of my projects, but what I have found is the silicone glue has a bond and a hold like nobody's business, and it's a lot cheaper than the art glitter glue. Okay, so you can't read the label on this one, but it is the, do I still have the bottle? Do I? It's the Stickmaster brand, and I got it from Craftonline. I got this one from. They were out of stock for a while, but they are back in stock now. Okay, stop waffling. Alright, I'm going to show you very, very quickly. So what I'm creating this box for, let you know. Okay, so first of all, this was my full length, right? So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a box for my new edge punches, right? So I sat there and I'm like, how much space am I going to have? Do I really want to stack these up? How am I going to do this? Am I going to buy any more? Well, all of those answers are yes. I think we all know that, right? So the one thing I have learnt doing this is leave a little bit of wiggle room. So even though you look at this and you can see, hopefully you can see, it's literally going to, I've still got them in their containers because I think they'll be easier to stack, but width-wise, you can move them to the side like that and grab them that way. You don't have to try and grab them this way, okay? So I've got wiggle room side to side. This little guy's just going to sit on top because the box it came in was hopeless. I literally just got these, by the way. They were on sale this week, so I grabbed them. So as you can see, why one of them... Anyway, moving on. Okay, right. So this is what I do. I usually put on my iPad, watch a movie, and this is so simple. So that's my full piece. I held up 2 pieces, so 2 pieces of the thickness of 2 boards, held that on the end, traced it. Then I cut the end off. So now your base piece is the thickness of 2 ends, shorter. Does that make sense? Hope so. So then we ditch that, don't need it at all. Right, although I do keep a lot. I do want to show you this. If you decide to go down this route and do this, something that you need to do is keep your end pieces, the bits you cut off, not that one that we just threw in the bin because it's way too small, but these ones, okay? Depending what size box you make, you're always going to have, or tray, you're always going to have these extra pieces, right? So what I actually use them for is reinforcing. I'm actually going to show you this. This is going to look extremely awkward, but I want to show you this so you can understand what my way of thinking, right? So this is what I store my washi in. Okay, it's upside down at the moment. Let's hope it doesn't all fall out. So each tray, right, pulls out, right? That one, these two are just too heavy to do that at the moment on this angle. But as you can see, have a look here. See, I've reinforced each shelf. I've reinforced it with these thinner pieces, right? So they've been glued in there to reinforce it. I'm not kidding you. You should feel how strong that is. Now these, I'll show you how much washi tape is in here. Like, that's a lot. Seriously, that's a lot. Inside here, I've just cut Christmas paper rolls. I've just cut them in half so that it doesn't all fall around. And it just slides in there beautifully. So that is why I say keep your extra pieces, because it's, you've paid for it, right? So crazy to throw it away. Okay, now, so we have cut the end. So, okay. Sorry, I get a really dry mouth. It drives me crazy. Okay, so you've got your base. So this is your base. I'm just going to write on here because I'm going to cover it anyway. So that's your base. Now, you need 2 end pieces to go on either end, right? So these are all leftovers, okay? These are all leftovers. So out of this leftovers box, so from a different project, these were all glued, all stuck together, right? So I pulled them out and I went, right, I need 2 side pieces and I need 2 end pieces. The 2 end pieces, I measured them this way. Now, if you can see, with my ends, they're actually the thickness of one, so it's 2 mil wider than the baseboard on both ends. Sometimes, look, sometimes it's not a perfect match, but when you see how I seal them together, you'll realise that it doesn't matter. You completely hide all the sins. Everywhere you've gone wrong, you completely... I've just realised I've got upcoming video information sitting there. Okay. It's alright, you'll come back and watch it anyway, won't you? So, let me see. Then we have the sides. Now, the sides are 2 mil... Let me see, hang on a minute. How did I do this? So, the base is 4 mil shorter, or 1/8 of an inch shorter. Then you've got this bit, then you've got this bit, and see, it all comes together just like that. Now, the reason why I make this sort of crissy-crossy like this, okay, is because it makes it stronger. Now, what I do from there, so I have 2 ends, 2 sides, and a base. Then what I do is I use my trimmer I've done this previously. I cut, okay, I use my Fiskars trimmer because this is my scoring board that I only use for scoring now because I can't get the blades for it, and don't even get me started on how that annoys me because this is my favourite trimmer. So I cut them to 1 inch. Now, what do I use? You saw that's white. That's it on the back. I use, and I have dedicated to all my, the only running theme with all of my boxes is the fact that I use one, I've literally hit one pad. I didn't want them to all be black. I didn't want them to all be white. I didn't want them to be all red or whatever. I'm going through a floral phase, and this pad, paper pad, just had no... I'd used the pages that I loved, so I decided I was going to use those to cover my boxes and reinforce my boxes. So, anyway, moving along. Waffle, waffle, Karen. I do waffle. I am so sorry. Okay, so what I am doing now is scoring that halfway point. Now, I don't know if you know this. You probably do. If you don't, when you score and you've got a valley, you need to turn it up to create a hill. Why do you have to do that? Because when you have a valley, in your mind, this is how I used to think of it. When I had a valley, I would push it down because it looked like it needed to keep pushing down. When you do that, your paper, you actually wreck the structural integrity of the paper that you're using. So what you do is, if you have a valley, so if I put this piece down, so I'll show you on another one. So that one was flowers up. So if I put flowers down, right, and then at the 1/2 inch mark, just run along. Don't have to be ridiculous about it, but that's what I'm talking about with a valley, in case you're new. Oh, because that's going to work, Karen. Okay, see how I've created a valley there? If you turn it over, see how there's a hill there? Right, so this way, with the valley, what you do is you make the valley come up. So you create a mountain, you see. Now, notice how there's no, maybe I should have done this on the pattern one. Notice there's no tearing, no sort of, it doesn't look funny. I'll do one the wrong way, and that might help you a little bit. Most of you might know this, but have I put it on my channel? No. Okay, so I've done my scoring, it's down. So now if I push that down, instead of going in, oh, okay, so it's going to make a liar out of me. But see how the paper isn't, it's not as strong looking, like your groove isn't, look how strong that groove is compared to that one. Anyway, that's what I do. So I'm going to throw that piece out because guaranteed I'll use it. So what I do from here is I actually do some of them so I score some because I reinforce inside and out on my boxes, right? So I have to create white edges inside and out. So some of these I score. I should have done this before I put the video on. I'm so sorry. And now I'm going crooked because I'm panicking. I'm thinking you guys are just going to run away and not come back. I promise. This will all make sense shortly. Okay. How many more do I need? I need a little person to count for me, don't I? Okay, so this one is a little bit shy of 1 inch. There's always one. I always do it slightly crooked. Okay, so this is white, so these ones will go on the outside. Okay, I'll just do that many for the moment, and then we'll come back to it. Hopefully that doesn't fall where I just said that. Okay, so now what do we have? We have our base ready to rock and roll. We have our two sides, and we have our end piece. Now, it's what I was talking about with the white before. So I'm going to sandwich this onto here, right? Like that. Can you see what I'm doing? I hope you can. Maybe I should zoom in on this. Okay, hang on. Okay, zoom in a little bit. Probably should have done that before. Okay, so let's see if this glue is going to cooperate with me, or... So this glue is actually, guess what? I think we're going to say it's dried up. No, it hasn't dried up. Okay, so I just used that much. I do use this glue really liberally. Okay. So I stick that on. Now I overlap the ends because I come back later. Now this glue gives you wiggle room, lots and lots of time for wiggle room. Art glitter glue does not give you wiggle room time. Okay, now I need to start a new bottle, but I'm such a Scrooge. I'd rather spend my supplies, my money on other supplies. Okay, so then I just wedge that on there like that, and then a little bit more glue on that side. Now this glue is silicone glue, so it's very similar to like your Fabertac. You might hear people using, I'm about to lose my nail polish. Yep, there it goes. Try and paint my nails so you guys have nice nails to look at. Okay, when I do that, I then usually always use my ever trusty drink container because it's never going anywhere. And then I do the other side. This is literally how easy this is. So I need a white one. I know I have another white. I know I have another outside white. I did it. I know I did it. And at last, I'm not going to start singing. Promise. Promise. My singing voice, it ain't great. Come on. Come on, Mr. Glue Glue. This is how I usually do it when I'm not on a video. I just go, yeah, full on like that. Sound effects and all. Okay. Slippity-doo-dah under there. And I'm not even kidding. This is literally, this is real time. There is no Karen fast forward today. This is how simple it is. Okay, I probably... Now because I put lots and lots of glue on there, I didn't need to do another run of it. There we go. Wedge it right in there. And then fold the side up. Come on. Tack on glue. The only thing with this glue is it's slower to tack than what the art glitter glue is. So depending which one you use, this one is slower, but it's darn sight cheaper, let me assure you. I'm going to use that one too. Okay, so then once I've done that, then I go through and, hang on, I'll get it all more in the frame for you. I have this problem, I'm not sure how to fix it. I need like a longer arm on my video recorder because my tape's up there, and yeah, it'll be all good. Okay, so then at this point, this little fella slips in between the two there and there. Come on. There we go. See how snug it is? It's actually holding without any... Oh. See how snug it is? You can't even see what I'm doing. Okay. Big Kaz is going to work this out one day, let me tell you. I will. I really will. It's the video side of things. Blowing my mind. Okay, so that now. This is where you sort of get a little bit, gets a little bit messy, but it all dries clear and whoa. And this is actually how I ruined my new craft mat with this glue. And I've done it again. I'm supposed to have my brown silicone doodaddy underneath it. Now I just run my finger up, just like you do in caulking. I don't know if you guys... Sorry, my phone is ringing and it's the Philippines this time. I keep getting calls from the Philippines. I'm more than happy to have calls from the Philippines if someone wants to subscribe to my channel and all that sort of jazz. But currently I don't know anybody in the Philippines. So if you're trying to contact me, I apologise. I keep ignoring your calls. Okay, so then another supporting one for the outside. Now I've glued that in there and there. Okay, now see how you can see the mat through the bottom? I got a party trick for that. Because once I do this, that was just me putting glue on there. Right. There, all the way up to there. Okay. Normally I trim this. I don't worry about measuring the paper. I go around and I use my what do you call it? Americans call them X-Acto knives. I call it a scalpel looking thing, a cutter, a craft knife, a whatever you want to call it. Okay. So, now where is my Teflon bone folder? Now I use that to squish it all together. Now you can see there's still a little gap there, right? Don't panic. Panic not. Fear not. Young ones, I assure you, I'm all glued up. Ew! Please get off me. Good thing about this glue, it just balls up and comes off you. Doesn't do the same on your craft mat though, so it would have been nice if someone told me it's dribbling. Karren, it's dribbling. It's going everywhere. I have to keep it on an angle though, otherwise it'll never come back out again. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Right, now, what do I do from this point on? Now what I do is I run, if I can find, I haven't done enough of them. Okay, bear with me. I'm just going to very quickly, I have to do some more white. Let's see if I can do this really quickly. Did that one the wrong way. Gee whiz. Okay. Try again. I'm trying here. See, this is why YouTubers edit videos and go to town in the editing process. Because, and they don't do voiceovers. Why? It takes too long. And if you, and you know what it's like when you're crafting and you think, oh yeah, I can do that now, or you change your mind and you think, oh, I'll do this instead. It all takes time. But when we're watching a YouTube video, we're watching someone's channel and we think, gee, they can craft beautifully. Fear not, young ones. It is all in the editing process. I can now assure you of this. Right. So, this is where I start. Where did I put my pencil? I have a fluoro pencil so I don't lose it, and still I lose it. Okay, so I just measure the height I don't worry about these being absolutely perfect. I just cut them off. So that's pretty much the height all the way around. I do prefer to cut them slightly straighter than that. And I just cut myself some corners, add some glue, and I'm still using the reinforceable, really good silicone glue. And then that goes on the outside. And once that sets up, just that one piece, she's not going nowhere. It is the strongest bond, and it's fantastic, honestly. If you make any of these, I would love to know. You're probably screaming at the channel right now going, Karen, there's so much easier way to do that. There probably is. I like doing things the hard way sometimes. Actually, I have refined this. I actually got, now I'll be honest with you, the trays themselves, that was just a storage solution for a problem that I had, right? But that being said, what I'm doing now is just measuring pretty much the inside of the box. Okay, 99.9, oh no, I've got the glue on my table. Okay, if I do not get this mat out, I am in trouble. Okay, now you're seeing crazy Karen at work. Okay. Oh, gee whizzikers. You kind of forget how messy this really can get. Okay, so I've just measured on the outside. That's just so I don't get my head in your way. Okay, so this piece goes in there. Okay, it fits. I always do a dry run just to see how it goes. Do I measure everything beautifully? Are any of these ever the same? I hope my head's not in your way. I hope you can see what I'm doing. And then you squish it all the way in. Now, don't stress about that extra glue. I run my finger along it. It just sets it up beautifully. Hopefully my head's not in your way. Okay. Now what I do is roll the glue off my fingers. Now, come on glue. I'm putting way more glue on here than I normally do. I do load it up, but so I do that, and then on the inside I re-support it, give it some more support there. Now, is this one the right length? Okay, see how this one's a tiny bit taller? Don't panic, it's fine, because at the very end, after I've gone around and connected, and I've connected all the pieces, all the ends and all these bits, and I let it dry. Only thing I'm ever patient with, never patient. I let it dry, and then, and only then, I go around with my craft knife and trim any extra bits that are sticking over the top. Okay, so see that end now, I can tell you, as soon as that sets up, it's as rock hard as those other ones. It's going to be great. Now, I'm just going to pause the video here, and I will come back when it's done, and I'll show you how I decorate it. Okay, so this is no longer live. I'm now voiceovering this bit. So as you can see, I've added the decorative paper on the outside. So you can still see a little bit of the white edge, but with that glue, it is rock solid. It's dried and it is so hard. It's awesome. So then what I did, if I can, okay, so then I added the decorative piece because, you know, I mean, you want them to look nice. So, and I wasn't really a fan of this black and white stripe. It's nothing that sort of grabs me or inspires me to create. So I just used it as a drawer liner. That's fine. So once I do this, this particular day that I was recording this, my hands were giving me a bit of grief. So now what I do is I normally just use my Teflon bone folder and I push all the glue to the very edges. But what I ended up doing was using my roller. I found that that gives nice even pressure and it doesn't hurt my hands so much. So pretty much what I'm doing here is just pushing the glue out to the very edges. Can you see how it's grabbing? I'm doing that on purpose there to show you. And I leave that glue bead sort of along the very edge because when it sets up, it's like concrete. It doesn't move. And it just gives extra strength to the box, which is, for this particular box, which is holding, you know, my punches. This is my, I'm showing you here my bone folder. Now, it's a Teflon bone folder. Got it from Amazon. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon or wherever you look for them. They're really good and they're great because on black cardstock, they don't leave marks. So with this, I actually left it time to dry. So the sides were all dried and set up. But you can see how with those in there, see I can easily grab them out without catching my hand or whatever. There's room for more, so I can buy more. And yeah, so it's working out really well. Now, what I do want to show you here is I can stack them up on top of each other, but I prefer not to do that in these boxes so you're not putting undue stress on the edges. Now, because this is already dried, the only bit that was wet is the very bottom inside piece. See how there's that extra lip of paper? Now, I like to do that because then I can trim them down. Don't worry, I don't slip here. I swear to God, I've done this a million times, although you wouldn't think so because it took me a bit to get it going. Normally, I drag the knife through and pull it towards myself. No, when I say towards myself, it's not really. I've actually got a good piece of desk between me and the knife. I know that looks like it's coming towards my hand, but there's a lot of, see, once I pull it, then I move my hand out of the way. Now, I actually run along and do another bead along the edge so you can actually see, and it finishes it off beautifully. Nice, smooth, clean edge. The reason it's a bit lumpy there is because I was doing it for the video. You know, it's the same old story. Because I'm doing it for the video, I'm trying to do it fast, so I'm not necessarily getting the glue right to the very edge. Once this was complete, I just put some of that same glue on my finger and I just run it around the edge just to seal the edges. And once it dries, it doesn't go anywhere. It's perfect. So that's what it looks like at the end. Once all the edges are all cut off, that's what you're left with. And it's rock solid. I did let it sit overnight before I lifted the base up or anything with the weight in it. And it worked a treat. So I hope this helps. Like and subscribe and follow me for more tips. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.